What's going on, guys? Hair's messy, I'm tired. I got my coffee here to get me away because geez Louise, got a lot to get into today. So let's talk more about this Knockout Chaos card. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment below your thoughts after the video. Let me know what you're thinking about the channel. Let me know what you're thinking about today's topic. Let's get into it. So today's video is Zhang versus Parker. Who wins and how? So we're going to start breaking down some of their past performances, or just a couple of their past performances, their best performances, seeing what they did well, what they didn't do so well, and discuss who can win and how, the methods. I don't think I'm going to give a prediction on this one because to me this is a real true 50-50 fight. I have no real idea. I may change my mind by the end, but we'll see. So let's get into the footage. We're going to start with Joseph Parker. I don't know if he has a AKA or I don't know, a ring name, but let's start with Joseph Parker and his last performance against Deontay Wilder at the Day of Reckoning. Let's get into the footage. If we have a look at this first round again, looking at the highlights, Joseph started really strong. He put the pressure on Wilder straight away. He had him on the back foot. One thing I noticed with Parker is that he didn't let Wilder's height or reach kind of scare him off. He just dived straight in, kept his head nice and low, kept his chin tucked quite low down, led with a nice leaping 1-2, so stayed far on the outside and then jumped straight into range, into a short range where Wilder is not good in short range. So he didn't allow himself to stay kind of in that mid-range for too long in the first couple rounds. Every time he did get close, did it tie him up a little bit, push him to the ropes. There was something I was worried about. So let's get into the footage for today. Today's first video I'm going to be breaking down is Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. We're going to be looking at some of the highlights, some of the lowlights. No, I'm joking, it was a good fight. Some of the highlights. Parker did very, very well this fight, put the pressure on. It does kind of open the question of how good is Wilder really? Let's see. So let's get into the footage for today. Today's first video I'm going to be breaking down is Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. We're going to be looking at some of the highlights, some of the lowlights. No, I'm joking, it was a good fight. Some of the highlights. Parker did very, very well this fight, put the pressure on. It does kind of open the question of how good is Wilder really? Let's see. So as we get into it, Parker straight away on that first round, onto that strong 1-2, bam, bam, straight into Wilder, putting the pressure on. Holding center ring. Wilder was circling a lot around the outside. He was on the back foot the whole time, which really let him down in the long run. And once again, what you'll see with Parker is that he was closing distance very, very quickly. He wasn't staying too long in that mid-range where Wilder likes to operate, where he can throw that right hand, very, very powerful, very quick right hand. He was staying there in that kind of long range, out of range. As soon as he got into mid-range, he will close the distance quickly, and almost like sometimes a leap and hook, a leap and lead hook. You can see in the third round, leap and lead hook to get himself into close range, then tying him up once he gets in. Still in that third round, once again, throws a 1-2, but steps in with a 1-2, getting that close range where Wilder cannot generate enough power to do any real damage. Into that third round again, nice good double jab, driving him back. Again, same thing as well. Now Wilder was circling towards Parker's left side. While Wilder was circling out, Parker throws that right hand, but he lunges in. So just closing that distance, getting into that close range. And there was something that I noticed in this fight that he kept doing that I was a little bit worried about, but in the end it didn't actually matter, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. Putting that pressure on and closing the distance, making sure it's nice close range where Wilder can't throw. Now that's what we see it first time. When Parker throws his overhand rights, and you see it a few times in the fight when he does throw that overhand right, he dips his head down naturally towards that left side and leaves it open for quite a bit. Now if it was someone with a better IQ, Wilder would have thrown a good uppercut, would have timed him, step back with the right leg, bam, right uppercut into Parker's jaw side. But he just didn't have the IQ to cope with it. Here we are in that round 8 now, and again that overhand right sets things off, bang, Parker starts mauling him. And Wilder just, he didn't get hit with many clean shots, luckily. The first overhand right connected, but after that, most of the shots didn't connect. And we just have to have a little rewind of the technique here, because I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know how Wilder got to where he's getting to, because when Parker backs him up, Wilder is slapping and clapping and lapping. It's a bit mad, I'm not gonna lie. Into round number 9 now. Again, Parker kept the pressure on, dipped it low, closed the distance, close range, real quick, where he can't develop, where Wilder can't develop any good punches. Wilder doesn't have the footwork to cope with that either. Now again, we know that Fury was, and Andy Lee was very instrumental in Parker's camp and giving him advice, and obviously Fury had the blueprint to beat Wilder. Fury's blueprint was put the pressure on, get him on the back foot because he can't fight off the back foot, and also close the distance and maul him, but in a different way. Fury's using his size to outwork him, outmaneuver him, to tire him, whereas Parker used that close range where he knew that Wilder can't develop the momentum or the velocity for his punches, and did the work on the inside there. Inside round 10 now. Overhand. End of the fight, gets a little bit scrappy. Again, overhand, but again, dipping that head to that left side, dipping that head to that left side, dipping that head to that left side. This way he started to spam it a little bit too much for me, and I was really starting to get worried. I mean, I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been too worried because we know what Wilder is, but you know, that right hand can equalize, or it could, before he started doing the ayahuasca. Anyway. Boom. So it wasn't the greatest fight. I don't know why Wilder had his hand up at the end. Wasn't the greatest of fights, but it was a great performance from Parker. He did the job, put the pressure on, did exactly what he needed to do. But there was something I was worried about, and there's something that we do need to kind of be concerned about with Parker. I don't think he'll do it with Zhang because the IQ is a little bit too high, and Andy Lee's a good coach and knows what he's doing. But that dipping the head very low, dropping down towards his left side is through the overhand right, because Wilder is a bigger fighter, did worry me. It did worry me because I was like, you know, if Wilder could step back with the right leg and throw a right uppercut, could try and time on the way in, we could be in for something a little bit of a, not a shock necessarily, but it could be in for, I don't know, a bit of a dangerous time for Parker. But Wilder didn't have that boxing IQ. But you know who does? Big Bang Zhelli Zhang. Let's get into it. So let's talk Zhang. We're going to talk today about the footage of Zhang versus Joyce 2. But before we even get into the highlights of the fight and start talking about the fight, we need to talk about Zhang and Joyce 1. In that first fight, you could easily see, Joyce, you can see he wasn't really prepared for a southpaw. He did not do the right preparation. I don't know what happened because to me it didn't seem like there'd been any preparation for a southpaw at all, or it had all been forgotten about once you go into the ring. He was going complete wrong way, walking towards Zhang's left side, and also at certain times wasn't moving his head. And we know Joyce prides himself on being a juggernaut. Chin should never be your best attribute because everyone has a different life from their chin. Some people's are 101 punches, some people can only take 2 punches, but eventually every chin gets cracked. So it's trying to avoid that punishment as much as possible. Have it if you need it, but try to avoid it. There was blatant deficiencies in training in that first fight, and I was not surprised the second fight went even quicker. Not even the same way, it went even quicker. But let's look at some of the adjustments that Joyce made, and look at how Zhang just said, bun your adjustments, we're gonna do this anyway. Straight away in that round 1, he's doing the correct thing of using that lead hand, trying to establish dominance. He's also stepping towards the correct side now. But even though he's doing that, like, Zhang is very, very patient, holding center ring. And again, he's keeping his lead hand out, Zhang. He isn't pouring it and going out and in, out and in. He's keeping it out to establish that range and let Joe Joyce, and kind of measure that range and let Joe Joyce know if he does come in, the left hand is waiting for him. Whereas Joe Joyce, while he's using that tapping hand, if you have a look at it, he still has his head quite far forward and he's leaning into range. So Zhang can connect with that left hand anytime he wants. Zhang is obviously the quicker of the two. He has the quicker hands. Bam, that left hand connects to the body. So Zhang is setting up to get that left hand to the head by going to the body often. Very tentative start. There we go. And you see there's good improvements from Joyce in this first round. A few jabs to the body from Joyce. Little positive things Zhang's doing. Now, even though Joyce is going the right way, Zhang is still stepping his front leg, his lead leg, on the outside of Joyce's lead leg. So while Joyce thinks that he's going the right way, Zhang is actually doing the correct thing of getting his front leg on the outside of Joyce's front leg. And then, boom, and that kicks it off. Left hand, right hook over the top. And now Joyce is still circling the correct way. We're in the second round, but he's losing that left leg battle. And something that southpaws do a lot as well is where you might have your left leg, your front leg on the outside of their front leg. You might feel like you're safe. A southpaw, and again, orthodox could do it. A southpaw will step in with a 1-2 and will change their footing on that 1-2 so that the backhand connects. If the one doesn't connect, it doesn't matter. It's just to set their feet so then the backhand connects, bam, on the 2. And now Zhang doesn't care. He's going the opposite way. He's going towards Joyce's right hand. What he's doing is he's trying to set him up because he knows that Joyce is not as fast as him. He closes the distance, nice tight high guard. And what he's doing there is trying to feel out Joyce's power. Because again, Joyce is not turning through his shots. So he's trying to see if his guard can take it. He knows he can. So there's no real danger as long as he keeps his hands up. Zhang gonna end round 2. Connects with another left hand and wobbles Joyce. Wobbles him again. Then Zhang goes off. Oh, left hands, right hooks. Getting in range because like I said, he was testing out that in range, seeing if he could take it. And now he's in range. He knows this guy's slower than me. He's slower than me. He's not throwing with as much power as me, so I can stay here. We're into that 3rd round. Now Zhang is going to the correct side and stepping to Joyce's outside and setting up his left hand. Up, staying in range, catching everything on the gloves because he knows I can take his shots. I believe this is where the knockout comes in this 3rd round as well. And again, just staying in range. Zhang hasn't really taken a step back. Bow! He put everything into that left hand. Because Joyce is thinking by staying on the outside of Zhang's front leg, he thinks he's safe. But he's too close. He's still in range. He can still get hurt. Taking those shots. Zhang doesn't even mind taking a jab to the head. He's like, this guy's got nothing on me. He throws a couple feints in there. Feeler jabs. Bam! There it is. Now again, I did say from the 1st round, Zhang was setting it up. He was setting up the left hand to the body, and then he finished it with a right hook up top. Again, I think the force was doubled as Joyce was turned away from it and turned into the hook because he was trying to throw his own right over the top. Absolutely devastating knockout. Who wins and how? So I think, right, it's kind of a hard one really. Now I looked back at the box rec of Joseph Parker, and Big Joe hasn't actually fought that many southpaws. I think he's fought Zhang in the amateurs, I believe, and Zhang won that fight. And I looked at Parker's box rec, and he hasn't fought that many southpaws. He's fought a southpaw by the name of Jason Bergman. If you're wondering who that is, don't worry, like you will not. Yeah, he was a fighter, 27 wins, 21 losses. Yeah, if you watch that fight, you'll see it was just it was a building fight, it was a journeyman fight. There isn't a lot of southpaw experience on Parker's record. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. You know, there's people who fight southpaws for the first time, smashing them up, or they fought southpaws in the amateurs, so it doesn't have the biggest of effects on the outcome. But this one I believe will be a little bit different. A couple of reasons. Number one, this is the heavyweights, so you know, one punch can change it all. So if you make one mistake with a southpaw in the lighter weights, it might just hurt a little bit. You might start to lose that round, lose points. And this one, you might really regret it, and especially with someone, and this is kind of number 2, as powerful as Big Bang as Zhang, as powerful and has as good of a boxing IQ as Zhang. So that's where we have a bit of an issue there with Joseph Parker. You know, I feel like Joseph Parker is a lot faster than Zhang in his footwork, as well as his hand speed. He's a very, very fast heavyweight. He didn't really show it too much against Wilder, but he can be very, very quick. His footwork can be quite good as well. So, you know, he could pose some issues there. I don't think he should go for the knockout. I think he should try and tire Zhang and get it to the later rounds. He has to go to the body very often, use his footwork to keep cutting angles and use that jab. He has to give enough though for Zhang to respect his power, because you can see with the boxing IQ of Zhang and what he's like with Joyce, he realized this guy ain't got nothing for me. The power isn't really anything, so I'm just gonna, like, after catching a few shots on the gloves and realizing, yeah, I could take this, he's kind of kept himself in range and just walked in and walked him down. Slipped a couple shots and took a couple jabs on the head purposefully just to go, it's nothing, and get himself in range to land his left hand. So, you know, I think Joseph Parker has to use that footwork to keep himself, not necessarily long range, obviously he's a lot shorter, or a little bit shorter, but keep himself on the outside. In, jump in, get the shots in, get back out. In, out, tire him out, shake it all about, do the hokey-cokey. And then when he gets to the later rounds, then maybe he can start putting a bit more pressure in, working on the inside, working that body, and then setting up some shots on. The overhand right, I don't think will work, or don't think it's on the southpaw. It's very, very difficult to work on Zhang. He's gonna have to step the left leg to the outside as he throws it. just the danger of what I thought from what happened with the Wilder fight of Parker kept dipping his head towards his left side. It won't be there for a southpaw as much. So yeah, I do feel like Parker has a good chance of winning this fight, but it's not going to be an easy task because he's got to get through Big Bang Zhang. Now with Big Bang Zhang, he's a tricky one because, you know, his record is a decent record or good record, but you know, he lost to Hrgovic. I feel he won in that fight. He didn't look great. In the fight before that, I believe he didn't look great either. But you know, he looks very, very good against Joe Joyce. Now, is that just because Joe Joyce is Joe Joyce and is very, very slow-footed, doesn't move his head? You know, so is that just an outcome of that? I think he has the hand speed to keep up with Parker, but does he have the footwork to keep up with Parker? I don't think he does, you know, but does he need it? He could just walk him down. He could use his presence, use his size to walk him down. Now, he does have a great boxing IQ. That is a massive thing. Like, you can see how he was setting up Joe Joyce for that knockout. He set him up from the very for that knockout, and that could be a real big issue for Parker. I don't think he'll go to Parker's body too much, but I think another thing, he will start to go to that body, start to try and wear him out a little bit. I don't think Zhang needs to necessarily make this an ugly fight or tie him up and try and lean on him and use his size in that way. I think his presence will be enough. I think his hand speeds will be enough, and I think that left hand, the speed of that left hand and the pop behind it, I think that will be enough. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for Parker. Who do I think wins? I'm still on that 50-50. I'm sitting on the fence with this one. I would probably lean more towards Zhang, even though I want Parker to win. So that's why I'm still saying 50-50. I want Parker to win. I think he's done really, really well to come. He was a great champion as well. So I feel like it'll be great to see, you know, the comeback story. But he's got to get through a real big problem in Zhelli Big Bang Zhang. Who do you think wins? You let me know in the comments below. Please don't forget, guys, to like, share, subscribe. Sorry, I know it's a long one today, but you know, I wanted to really get into this one. We'll do another video to talk about all the fights on the undercard for our Knockout Chaos card. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the channel. New videos every, I don't know, second hour. Peace.